All right, here
It's fun.
we go, William. 3, 2, 1.
Action.
Today we are talking to William Volk, LuckyBit Casino CEO. What is LuckyBit Casino? Well, you know what? It's like an online casino, but it's going to be changing and branding changing differently.
No.
We got to figure all this out, William. We got to let people know. And I'm curious.
LuckyBit.club. LuckyBit Club. Yes.
LuckyBit Club. I'm ruining it right off the start. What a great first impression.
We're not focused on casinos right now. No, that's something we initially thought we did, but the issue there is that there are incredible licensing requirements. It was just a question of like, we can't do that quickly. Let's do something that makes sense, that has a proven financial model to it. Let's do that. We can do that. And then Sherry Kuno, the CTO, came up with what I think is one of the best game ideas I've heard in a very long time. The top things I've done in my career are not necessarily the things I've done, though there are some cool things. It's discovering really cool people who have really cool ideas.
And that's what I'm trying to do here today, William. Discover really cool people with really cool ideas. So what you're trying to do here is, like you're as you were telling me earlier, your elevator pitch is the Daily Flip is a Web3 game where players predict short-term crypto price moves, turning market intuition into quick, real wins, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
Tell me what you're doing there.
Well, I don't want to go into the big magic sauce here because there's a magic part of it and that's sort of differentiated. But if you look at the typical prediction game, like PRDT, for example, is typically
what's PRDT?
That's a prediction game called PRDT. Predict. Okay. PRDT, and that game you predict whether a block Bitcoin will go up or down in a minute or 5 minutes. It's a very typical thing, and it does very well. And they also do other tokens as well. That's very common. The Polymarket has some of that. Those things have been around for a while. They do very well. Our CTO came up with something different. Slightly different. That's a huge marketing win as far as I'm concerned. And we're in testnet, and we'll reveal this when it's time to reveal it. But it's one of these big idea things, like big ideas. Like in the past, when I first got to Activision decades ago, the first week I discovered a silly sort of children's thing that I thought was very unique, and I convinced the company to publish it. And that was Cyan, the people who did Myst, their first game. So I greenlighted Myst, Cyan's first game, and that was a very big breakthrough in terms of interface. So in this case, what this is a breakthrough, I think, in Web3 gaming, in that it's far more interesting than just that. Yes, prediction gaming works. We can see the financials because they're all available on DApp Radar and so on. But this adds a new twist to it, which we will reveal when we go live. We're currently having testnet. If I last looked at the running product, curious.
When are you expected to go live? What's your goal?
I'm not. I will tell you right now. I'm gonna quote Miyamoto. A late game is only late until it ships. A bad game is bad forever. So we've currently had a 250,000 plays so far.
Okay.
250,000. The game has gone through 250,000 actual iterations in terms of play. It's live all the time on testnet. People jump in and out who are testers. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
And if the only people who have seen it are besides us are some venture capital people who have seen it.
Okay.
I do a lot of pitching. In October, when we were doing the casino thing, I did Tokenized 2024 Vegas, and there were 19 companies, and I won that one. And then 3 weeks ago, I showed up to another event with no prep, no plan to speak whatsoever. I had no intention of speaking. I was just going there to say hi to people. It was actually held at Mike Tyson's former mansion, the one that was in Hangover.
Okay.
And I was one of the 3 companies picked, and I wasn't even trying because I didn't intend to. But there, because it was venture capitalists, I could show a video of the game and feel, okay, this is okay. And as one of the people in the space, Michael Turpin, who is Transformation Ventures, he who owns that house actually, he said that basically, you have a really strong product and a great team. That's why we picked you. But he said, I couldn't vote for you because I'm one of the investors. I go, I know, Michael. So, that's how it goes.
Insider scoop there.
Yeah, so, you can't do that. So, but yeah, I mean, the idea is sound, but more importantly, This isn't here. Look, let's be honest. Web3 games generally have had an awful reputation. They don't have a lot of players. They're typically tapped on, or they're based on things like, well, I'm going to buy these cards and they're going to go up in value, so I'm going to make money on this, or I'll grind away and I'll make money playing this game. But that's sort of the thing here. This is more like an esport in the sense that there's people competing, and like they are in the other prediction games, to see who can win, and the actual wins come from other players. We don't, it's all smart contracts, it's all on the blockchain. So it's kind of cool.
So what are people predicting in the game?
Well, like I said in the thing, they're predicting the movement of cryptos. But we could do anything. We could predict the movement of stocks if we wanted to, and but there's a twist that I will not reveal. I'm sorry. It's going to wait till it comes out. Everyone start banging on my door. If you want to, write checks and we'll tell you more. But the truth is,
send the checks to CEO at LuckyBit.club.
So our wire information is, but my wallet is. No, I'm just kidding. It's funny. We had an investor in Asia, and we did the whole thing and met a couple times online and all that. He liked the idea. It's a small investor, but an investor. And I said, okay, so do you want our wallet for USDT, for the stable coin, because we actually use stable coin in the game itself, which is interesting, but because you have to. But he goes, no, I just do regular wires. I go, okay, it's 2025, but I will.
Did you send over your information on the wire onto his fax machine?
Yeah, don't kid yourself. In a very funny story. In what year was it? In 2001, I got the idea of I could replace fax machines for proofing. I got tired of getting a fax of a business card or an ad and trying to figure out what was wrong. So I created an entire company called ZipProof, ZIPPROOF.com, and its whole basis was people would get an email, they'd click on a link, no login. It would put up the thing that needed to be reviewed as a web page, like a full color image, and they could say, I approve this, I disapprove this, I want these changes. And Kinko's was involved in this. So the changes, the way they were done to make it simple, was push pins. You'd put a numbered push pin at a particular location, and below you would type in what was wrong. And I think I had 40 or 50 print shops using this, mostly in South America. The code was, I convinced someone that we couldn't depend on Java script, which was not JavaScript, Java, Java's applets, it was called back then. We couldn't depend on that. We had to have an alternative. So in 2003, the alternative was to use something where you click on the image and it sends the coordinate back to the server, and the server re-renders the image, an image map. Well, what was funny is that the coding stopped in 2003. I turned the system off several years ago because the last print shop kicked out. But it ran on the iPhone. It ran on the iPhone. It ran on the iPad. It was like, what? Yeah, because we were so paranoid. And the reason why we had these customers in South America is this is by then it's let me see, 2010, they're running Windows 3.0 and running some horrible Internet Explorer 1.0. In other words, it still worked for them, and they used it, But no, never really took off. But it was just, I was so tired of faxing, I did that. That was really a hard lesson, to learn,
Yeah. I want to ask you more about your, with the gambling on crypto. Because the big question I had in all this, when I saw what you did, I thought it was incredibly fascinating. I got friends that are degenerate gamblers. I like my little micro betting on DraftKings. I think I've made money.
It's a big deal. Big deal.
I think I've made money betting against the Rockies about every game this year. So if you're a baseball fan and you bet against the Rockies, you're right more than you're wrong. But that's
good. A lot of this is sentiment. People will go on Polymarket and they'll bet based on what they believe rather than the actual facts of the case.
Absolutely. And so the question I have for you with betting on Bitcoin going up and down, first off,
we're not actually doing that, by the way. We're not actually doing it. We're doing something different with different things, but that's okay. It's the same analogy. Yes.
Well, because the question I had off was what's the difference of me just buying the coin myself and letting it go up and down? If it goes down, at least I still own a fractional coin.
you get it fast. I mean, in PRDT, the rounds are 1 minute or 5 minutes. It's very fast turnaround.
Okay.
And what's also is you're not actually, so, okay, if I buy Bitcoin, it goes up 5%, I make 5%. But in the case of like a prediction market or prediction game, you're competing against other people. You're saying X and they're saying Y. When you win your pool of the people who were wrong.
Oh, I
The
see.
returns
So
are much higher, quicker and faster, returns.
kind of
I
like
will tell you,
shorting or longing stock a little bit.
right. It is almost like a futures market in a way, but or an options. So what we have going on in these games, and us too, is we have candlestick charts that are constantly being updated, or graphs and stuff. And people who are knowledgeable look at the candlestick charts. I don't do. I used to play a lot of poker, but I do mostly now is what they call day trading. And what I do is I look at charts and see what's going on, and decide this thing. Like, for example, a couple of days ago, I missed what was going on with one of these Chinese car companies. I think it was XPEN. They had some really good numbers, and the chart that came out was so obvious. I mean, it was like, oh yeah, this is going to go up in value. And had I been there, I would have made in one day 4% return. So that's how. And if you're really brave, you do options.
Oh yeah.
I have an advanced degree in physics, and I said to myself, I'm not ever going to do options until I understand options completely. It's just too complicated otherwise. Options is a bet on future value, where you don't actually invest X amount. You buy a contract that says, for example, if you think something's going up in value, you buy a contract that says, I have the right to buy X shares at this price at a certain date in the future, and blah blah blah. If you bet against it, you say, I have the right to sell at a certain price, at a certain date, and all that. It's scary stuff, but people do it.
So would you say what you're doing, like with betting on crypto, is more like, say, the money line in sports, where it's like the sports book is just making sure enough people bet on both sides of it with the odds. So you're going, hey, I think the Rockies are going to lose this game. Oh,
go ahead. No, I just turned the video for a second. Someone walked by me. Okay.
Okay, fair enough. So the idea is like if the Rockies, I think the Rockies are going to lose, so they're going to give me an odds on that, versus, you may think the Rockies are going to win, so they're going to give different odds and try to get people to bet on both sides of it. And would your company just make money on the transaction?
Yeah, we're just a service provider. We're just taking a piece of the like a poker game. We're just taking a rake.
Yep.
And in Europe, they bet on everything in sports. They go, like, for example, there'll be an ongoing football, i.e. soccer game, and they'll bet whether this guy's going to score in the next 10 minutes. I mean, really, it's loony bins,
Oh, yeah.
It's really amazing.
Oh, like with the football season coming up, you can bet, like, are they going to get a first down? What's going to happen on this drive? What's going to happen?
Right.
Yep. Which I think is actually a lot of fun. Like, I just do when I say micro bets, like $1. It's just,
that's fun. I mean, the whole fun. And here, same thing. People are doing micro bets. I think the starting bet is $1 USDT, and people do it for fun and all that. But if you look at some of these products, they're amazing financial machines, because people really love the thing. And then if you're good at chart reading and stuff, you can beat the odds. You can beat the other team. And in a way, this is like training to do technical analysis of the stocks, to do trend analysis. Look at do you know the origin of candlesticks in chart? You know what a candlestick is, right?
I know the charts of it. Yeah, I couldn't tell you what the origin is.
So the box shows you the starting price and the ending price. The little lines coming up show you how high it went, how low it went. If it's red, it went down. If it's green, it went up. It originates in the 1600s in Japan for rice trading.
Oh, interesting.
And it was rediscovered sort of in the 1990s. But in Japan, there's even someone who invented it. I've got their name. They invented the entire thing in the 1600s. It was for rice trading, because rice trading is what they did. And rice itself had different values depending on harvest and demand and so on.
No,
fascinating stuff, actually.
That makes sense. I have an idea for a predictive game that we could work together on, William, if you're interested.
Well, I always like ideas.
Sure. So for venture capitalists, serious inquiries only on this. Okay, I don't need any. But so you said you were a cyclist earlier when we were talking.
I do riding every day. I ride my bike pretty much.
So have you ever done an Ironman or the tri work, like the athlete?
No, because I'm too big to be a good runner. Literally,
Okay.
I'm just too large. I can, I'm almost 6'3", and my knees will not take it. I mean, I was in college, and I did like a 7-mile run with a girlfriend, and had to go to student health, and they said the guy there was kind of what can I say? Kind of obnoxious, but he said, "Have you ever been to the cloisters in New York? This is a medieval castle that was transported to New York City. It actually exists." And I go, "Oh yeah." And he goes, "You ever notice how small the crypts are?" I go, "Yeah." People weren't meant to be that our sizes. We bred people to be large, and now they get injured if they do certain things. So yeah, I gave up on running. I did a lot of sports in high school that were running sports, but
yeah,
no, yeah.
Fair enough. But what I want to do is
I do brevets. You know what brevets are?
I do not.
Brevets are rides where you have to finish the ride in a certain amount of time, sort of like
Like a time trial.
rally.
Okay.
You don't have to go too fast, but you have to go a certain pace. And so I'll do like a 200-kilometer ride in a day, 125 miles in a
Oh
day.
wow.
And usually involves, a lot of climbing, and I'm not a lightweight, so it's a lot of work.
No, I'm in the Clydesdale division there with you. I'm 6'3".
How much you weigh?
I dropped 50 pounds in the last year, but I'm down to around 240.
I'm around 215,
Yeah.
but in 1996 I was over 350, and I lost
Oh
the
wow.
weight. I lost 140. There's a TV show called Fit for TV now on Netflix, a series about the Biggest Loser.
Yeah.
Most of those people gained the weight back.
Oh yeah.
Because they did extreme things to lose it. So I lost the weight in a year. I ate less, but I also had a bike ride that was a 33-mile round trip commute to work. They had showers at work, and it included some miraculous climbs. In fact, I didn't die doing it when I was over 300 pounds. But yeah, by 1999, I was fast. I was time trialing at like 24 point something miles an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, I was fast.
Yeah.
I'm still strong.
What do you see when you're riding your bike? I'm assuming you're riding some type of road or tri bike, something that you're
I'm
working
riding a
on.
very extreme bicycle that we've never seen something like it before.
Do you now when you see
carbon,
what about when you see cheaters like on the e-bikes?
I don't care. I think e-bikes have actually been a great find. Here's why. The bike I ride is a carbon fiber dual large wheel, standard size wheel, 700C wheel, recumbent. It's a long story how I got this thing. I put it together myself. I got the frame and did it. It's a fast bike. When I'm riding and I'm no youngster, when I'm riding in Coronado up that strand, I'm usually going faster than 20 miles an hour. So the e-bikes are a godsend because people are no longer misjudging speed. What happened before with cars and stuff, you'd be going fast and they would cut out because they thought you were like riding at 12 miles an hour. Hopefully that noise isn't too bad. I'm on mute when I'm not talking.
Okay.
The e-bikes are great, and I wrote an editorial about this. I wrote the e-bike kids are all right. Everyone complains about the children, but you have to understand that up until a couple years ago, for decades, kids had to be taken everywhere by their parents. That wasn't the case when I grew up, but that's the way it was. Now, you look at a school parking lot and it's filled with e-bikes, and you go to yourself, "Wow, my parents are spending $1,000 or $2,000 on e-bike kids for their kids." It pays off financially. Why? Well, other than the fact that you have to take 2 trips to the school, you have to drop them off and pick them up. Think of the insurance. So if you have, let's say, a teenage boy who's 15, you buy him an e-bike, you can delay him getting a driver's license till he's after 18 or 19. By doing that, you save thousands of dollars because you could get insurance for a teenager, particularly boys.
Hundreds of dollars a month.
Yeah. So e-bikes pay for themselves. And what I'm seeing now is sort of like time travel to the past. I see kids riding e-bikes with fishing poles or surfboards. You didn't see that in the past. It just didn't happen. They would have to glom on with their parents or find someone to drive them there. So that e-bikes are this is a really interesting discussion, by the way. E-bikes are a cool thing, and I don't blame people for buying them. I live in a very hilly area, and most people are not going to ride these hills.
No, we're out here in Colorado, and I get that with the hills, and I like it when people are out on the bikes. I just kind of, when you're struggling up the hill, and you see someone like the 300, like I'm all for people getting out there and getting exercise, however they do it. Then you see the person just cruising right up by you going up 24 miles an hour while you're trying to crawl up the hill at like 6 to 8 miles an hour. You're like, let me draft behind you for a minute. Throw me a rope. Give me something. Help me out up the hill.
Well, I will beat them on the downhills every single time.
Yeah.
My bike is way faster on the descents because it's so aero and all that. Can I put a picture in here? Can I add a picture in here? How do we send a picture to you? Can I, let me see, is there an option to, let me see my chat, is there an
See if you
option
can throw it
to,
in the chat there. We'll put it up there if we can.
how can we do that? Is there a way of adding a picture to the chat? Let me see.
I've never tried to do that in the chat, so we'll see. So, but let me get back to my idea. This could work for bikers too, by the way, but it's more traditionally with runners, but it could be,
okay.
It could be added to bikers. Like I think we make an API plugin where we plug it into like, for a gambling option, with like let's just say plug into like Strava, Garmin, the Apple Fitness.
Yeah. There's a whole. I don't know if you know this whole thing. This is a competitive thing using training bikes.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Where people compete with bikes connected. Either stationary bikes or a bike on a platform.
Yeah, like I have a Peloton. I can race friends on there, and
But there's one that has actual video and everything of the actual courses and stuff, and you see your other riders, you see other people on the road.
I think it starts with the Z, like Zwick or something like that. I think
Zwift or something like that, or
yeah. But this is a little bit different, William, and I want you to follow with me on this, okay? So it's like we get our gambling site, we plug it into those like fitness apps like Strava and places like that. And like the Walton Penner Group here, here in Denver, they invested in Strava early on, so maybe we can reach out to them.
I use Strava. Strava is my life. Yes.
I love it. I love Strava. So it's like, but I think what we do then is like, I want to be able to bet on like amateur runners where you see their profile, how far do they plan on running? What did they eat to prime for the, what did they eat the night before? What did they have, prior to the run? And I want to see if we can bet on when they crap their pants on the run.
Well, you could do that right now in Polymarket. That would work.
Would that work in Polymarket? Because I'm like,
sure.
William's going on a 125 mile bike ride. We're gonna see if he craps his pants.
Oh, it's funny. I've gotten so used to like how to eat on those rides. I have a whole technique now because you can't eat. You're burning 700 calories, 800 calories an hour. You can't eat that much. You'll just be sick. Yeah. So I only eat like half a Cliff Bar every half hour. Mm-hmm. So that's 260 calories an hour. And what happens is you can look it up as something that's called fats burn in a carbohydrate fire. You'll start utilizing your fat reserves if you eat a little bit of carbs continuously for the ride. I don't eat for the first hour because I usually have like an overnight oats breakfast. Mm-hmm. It's got to be a way of adding a photo here. How do I add a photo?
Shoot it to me an email real quick, William, and I'll load it up.
Well, what's your email?
Just Rob at Simpler, ROB.
Put it in chat. Put it in chat.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay if people email me. I'm in sales. I'm in sales.
Turn off the whole screen. Hold on a sec.
But like it's interesting, like with what people can bet on, like in Polymarket and everything, and you're doing a lot of interesting things. And I'm curious, like with the launch, and like you said, you rather launch the game right than launch it bad, and I'm gonna appreciate that. And
well, Miyamoto, he was guy did Mario, he was right,
Yep. And so there's a ton of like, is there much regulation? Like you said, you dropped the casino idea because of all the regulations you have.
Well, because casinos are a game of chance.
Yep.
And so the question is, can you basically make the the case that basically this is a game of skill? You can, it's an argument, and you have to follow the regulations even with a skill game. There are some places where you can't do the game because of regulations. So you have to geofence things and all that, and you get to other regulations and all that. So let me see, library, favorites. Here we go, favorites. Oh, it's so bad. Trying to do this to two screens and all that.
Oh, it's all good. So
don't worry, I'll get there. Don't worry.
So what about like with what you've then seen with like online gaming? What I'm curious about is like, what about like online casinos as a whole? Are they coming back? They used to have like.
Oh, they're pretty good. I mean, Stake is doing really well. If you look up Stake, their financials are great. Stake is a really profitable casino that works out really well. They do very well.
Okay. Because because poker, like you mentioned earlier, is one of those games. Is it a game of skill or is it a game of chance?
Yeah, there's always an argument. And I used to play a lot of poker at a charity event at a game conference. I basically made the final table, and it was Phil Gordon and all that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was a charity event. I didn't make any money from it, but it was fun.
No, very cool.
And Let me get you one more picture.
Yeah. So do you think we have an idea with this? Like how would we?
It's kind of because it's amateur. Yeah, I don't know. You have to look into it.
My brother done Ironmans. He's training for a 50-mile run. If I go like, hey, what'd you have for dinner? Oh, you had chicken fajitas at the local Mexican place.
Oh,
great.
That's a bad idea.
It's like, it's like, what are you doing before you run? Oh, you put down a half a pot of coffee. Okay, how far are you running? Oh, you're going to try to run 15 miles. I'll put the over under at 10. Oh, let's go.
That's an interesting thing. I mean, you want to tie that into Strava, really. Forget Polymark. You really want to tie into Strava. And Strava allows you to tie in apps to it. I mean, for example, I use a Garmin, and the Garmin talks to Strava, right?
Yeah. My Peloton talks to Strava.
Yeah. So it has some legs. It's not as the other thing about any of these ideas that's true about games and all that is that, like, for example, someone presented me a plan for a Web3 game. They did a lot of work. They did have some competitive things. They had like a battle game in the game where you could basically play against other players and win or lose money, right?
Yeah.
But their plan for customer acquisition was like literally then a miracle occurs. It's like, we're gonna have 20,000 daily players. Well, how? And then they have some, no, I know illusions. One of the reasons I think this prediction thing is great is because you don't need tremendous number of players to make it cash flow positive. I think my camera is stuck. Is it stuck?
It got frozen there when you switched screens there a little bit. Let me.
Oh no, I know what you can do. I can just turn this off here. Turn it back on. Nope, it's stuck. I could refresh this. I could refresh the screen. Could I do that? Let me see. Refresh the browser, and maybe I'll crash it, but we'll see.
We'll see what happens here.
Oh no! It's going to reload the site. Is it going to lose the recording if I do that?
Yeah, probably. Here, I just put up the picture. Can you see the picture that's you on your recumbent bike?
Yeah. That's a good picture. Yeah, you can see what I mean by radical. See, the error is pretty good in that one. It's a nice bike. Oh, the funny story about this bike is when I ordered it. Let me see if I can turn me back on and see if I come back on live.
Okay.
Let's see. Take away the.
Here, tell you what. Let me do this real quick.
No, we crashed. Steam.
StreamYard, the video.
And in fact, yeah. So the funny thing about that is that I have a reputation of crashing software since I was a young guy working at a company that was doing business software. The story is that someone said, "Bill, I was running the West Coast for this company that was owned by Epson," and said, "Bill, I got this working. It's not crashing." And I went to the screen he was sitting there. I went poof, and it crashed. And from that point on, the reputation was there. I have crashed every single application. I crashed the game we're working on all the time, and Jira tickets get done, and Jira tickets get solved. This is really sad that it lost my video.
We'll tell you, we got to wrap this up here anyway. We're here, but
so anyway,
let's stay in touch with what you're doing when it launches, because I'm super curious, like especially with like the
summation is this. To give you an idea, PRDT, I'll give you something that's inside. PRDT, which has about 5,100 people playing the game every month, does about $10 million in transactions. That's what the money people are putting into the thing. Now, most of the money is going out, but they're taking some of it. They're taking the money to run the contracts to do that. It's a really exciting time. It turns out these are one of these things, like the idea that we came up with, which is a real twist, turns out to be really hard to do. Well, duh. There's a reason why people weren't trying it, because it required a lot of trickery and all that. And when we showed it to people, particularly when I showed it on the phone, people are like, "This runs really well. This is fast." I go, "Yeah, because people busted their chops to make it that fast. It wasn't that easy." The final bike story before I go. Yeah. When I ordered the cranks in the bike from Amazon, now I live in San Diego. When I ordered the cranks of this bike in Amazon, they came from a bike shop in New York called Brand's Bicycle in Wantagh, New York. Unremarkable. For some reason, Amazon's using them to buy parts from SRAM. I worked there as a teenager. What are the odds? So that's a crazy story. That's a crazy bike story. Yeah, I rode this morning. It was hilly and all that, but I'm used to it. Yeah.
No, very good. Well, William, let's stay in touch as you guys launch this. If you need more people to come to your site, let me know. That's what I do.
Yeah, we'll do. We probably will. I mean, you're modest, and you have a modest proposal. So yes, definitely keep in touch. And I'm so sorry I crashed StreamYard. Tell StreamYard I crashed. I crashed StreamYard. I did it.
StreamYard, come on, pick it up.
What happened was I moved my cursor to the sleep mode of the Mac, the lower left-hand corner. So all the screens went black, and then I turned it back on again using the touch login, and it just didn't come back. StreamYard didn't come back.
We can blame StreamYard or Tim Cook. I'm not sure here.
Blame both,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Google Meet would come back. Google works.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right.
It's a Chrome platform with StreamYard with a lot of what they do in their back end. So it's interesting.
It's Chrome.
So,
This is Chrome. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll figure it out. But William, let's stay in touch. Let me know when you launch. Thanks for connecting on LinkedIn. If you're interested in seeing what William's doing with LuckyBit and what they're doing, I'll put his link in the description so you can find more about it. Stay in touch with what's going on. Be a part of when the launch happens. And
we're looking for testers. We're looking for people to participate when we start rolling out on the mainnet. So get in touch with us. Yeah.
I have a friend, Nick. He is a degenerate gambler, and he volunteered his services. Okay.
Degenerate gambler. That sounds great. I love that.
He is, and he'll probably work out in some trade for some search engine work too. So.
Okay. All right. Sounds cool.
All right. Perfect. Thanks, William. Hold on one second here as we wrap this up. Thank you, William. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.